Welcome to the January 19th Kustomize Bug Scrub. There is nothing in particular on the SIG CLI agenda for this bug scrub. So before we get started with the triage board, as usual, I just would like to put it out there that if somebody is bringing an issue that they want us to take a look at, we can do that at any time. If you have one ready right now, please paste it in the chat and we will go take a look at that first. Otherwise, we'll just get started with the triage board. So let's see what we have here. We are sorting, let me make sure I'm sorting by a logical way here. Probably want the last response to be the longest to go, so more like this. All right, so it looks like we're starting with a issue with install kustomize.sh. Somebody trying to download an old version of Kustomize using a script. This sounds like something that we have an associated PR for. That I actually kind of recently commented on, I believe. Let's see, install, well, that might be enough. Yeah, this one. 4130. Is that not this? Yeah, okay, so this is a duplicate of 4130, it looks like. Just open that up and make sure. Yeah. While we're here, let's see if there was any responses we didn't notice on the PR. No, still waiting for a response from the contributor. So I'm going to say duplicate. Let's see. No, that wasn't the issue. All right. Next step, we have label transformer can't reference inside an array. Here, actually, I should paste this in the chat for everyone to be able to take an easier look. There you go.
It says they're using common labels, or they don't like common labels because it adds labels to selectors. But we also have an undocumented labels field that will do what they want. So I think this is just documentation and explaining to them that there's another solution.
Okay. It's one thing I found curious about what they're saying is the common labels object can manage this field, but they can't find a way to make it work by a label transformer. It's just super weird because common labels is label transformer, right? So maybe they're having trouble finding the default configuration that they actually wanted. I don't know, but you raise a good point that this, yeah, solution to their actual problem is probably that other field. Would you mind commenting about that?
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
Okay, I will sign you. Thank you. Then we have a question. Paste the link in the chat again.
Oh, I did actually see this. I commented on it yesterday.
Oh yeah, you did. Okay, yeah, this is in my queue as well. I was thinking about that, and yeah, I'll get back to them as well. I think, I guess just to comment on briefly, we're telling them like you could get around this by using exec functions, but we really want to encourage people to use containerized functions. I think it's better for our users. It's better for security. So if we're going to end up weighing the sort of ideological purity of not allowing any environment variables versus forcing people into the solution that's less good for the end users, aka exec, where they could be using containers. I think learning more about why they need to use env specifically and they can't use mount would be useful, because if it's super legit, then we should probably consider keeping env after all. I think that's less bad than making containers not work for really important use cases.
Yeah, I think their use case was just that they want to pass credentials to the container, which is typically done through env variables. So I suppose they could also mount something with the credentials into the container instead. Maybe that's less intuitive.
Yeah, they in the original comment here, they do say variable or volume mounts. So
Oh, is it an or? Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, so I'll respond. It's already in my queue to respond to with maybe a follow up, but if they have a strong preference there and why.
Sounds good.
Did I? Oh yeah, my sorting reset. I thought that was weird because you just responded and I thought I was sorting by least recently responded. So here we go. Let's go back to that. All right, here we go. Customized build should output resource. Oh, this is from you in of KRM spec format.
Yeah, it's more about supporting more generic output. I think Natasha, she's actually working on related items, the design doc. Is that true, Natasha?
For what? Which one is this?
So basically, we expect the customized build, the standard output can support the format like a resource list, so as it can integrate with other tools that also support this kind of config pipeline.
Oh, I was not working on this.
Okay,
Yeah,
or I can take it maybe.
I think this is an interesting discussion that we could have now or later. I see, you know, the value of interoperability, but at the same time, we really have a policy of not having flags that affect the output to customize build. Maybe that's an implementation detail, and this could be driven by field instead.
I wonder if instead we could just have a separate command that takes a stream of resources and converts it to like a resource list, so that you could pipe the output of Kustomize build into that, and then pipe that into other tools.
I think the concern of having a different command will be that the execution about analyzing the files and the resources need to be will be duplicated.
Oh, that's right. This is because they want the like internal like file paths and index annotations. They need those.
Yeah, and the concern about adding that as a customization, the YAML field will be user that may want to have different output differs to different scenarios. So it means they are required to change the customization, the YAML, every time they change the output format. And I don't know what happens if some of their customization, the YAML has this field like this configured, this output configured, while some others that like nested in the same base overlay structure doesn't. Or we can discuss about this offline. We have the other meetings after this.
Yeah. Would you mind actually, UN, since you originated this, would you mind adding more detail about the justification you mentioned? Because currently it's just saying sort of on principle, we originated this format. Why aren't we compatible with it? But if there's a more specific and compelling reason behind the feature request, it would be good to have it outlined. Because like on principle, we actually don't want the build output to be changing ever based on flags. Like you give it the same customization, it should have the same output, and that's something we've been trying to fix holes in. Yeah, so having a more complete description of the use case would be really helpful if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I found this a while ago. I will reevaluate as well. So currently the two options, one is wire flag, which is not preferred because it has some side effect for the execution time. Is that correct? The other one is basically adding a field to the customization YAML.
Yeah, yes. It's specifically build that has this constraint as well. So like Natasha's suggestion, depending on whether or not we fulfill the use case, but Natasha's suggestion of a totally separate command that would work differently is
yeah,
also a
separate
possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'll add more details.
Yeah, I will assign you, and I'm also going to mark this under consideration since it's from our own team here.
Thanks.
Great. Okay. Config map generator should allow behavior append. Don't they want a merge?
It says they're doing merge, and this is the output they're getting, which sounds more like a bug.
Oh,
Oh,
wait, is the key always the same? And
yeah,
they're
the
expecting
key
us
is
to
the
merge the
same.
value?
Yeah.
Okay, this is an old issue. The data isn't structured, so we shouldn't be doing anything within the values of the config map that we're generating. We have a let's see, we have an old issue somewhere where we agreed that we could do some sort of a structured merge in the case where the data is JSON. Do you remember that, what that looks like? Config map.
I don't remember this issue.
Possibly this. No, doesn't look like it. Interesting that I can't find it. I guess it could have gotten closed if the person didn't respond for a long time. In any case, that's not what they're asking for in this issue, I suppose. So I guess they don't want us to do a structured merge. They just want us to tack the content onto the end. Is that right?
That's what it sounds like.
Do you think, what do you think about that?
It seems very strange, like an odd thing to do. But I'm not necessarily like opposed to it. I think, I don't know, I guess I'm curious why they have these things in like different files and they need to append them.
Yeah. I think we probably shouldn't do it because the data in there is going to have some sort of structure. Like in this case, it's YAML, and just tacking some YAML onto some other YAML, like it's white space sensitive, that could go wrong. And I feel like if we supported that, it would be pretty buggy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kustomize. You know what, I'm just gonna instead of watching me type this somewhat complex answer, I'm gonna try to find that other issue again. So I'm gonna assign it to myself and then respond in more detail later. Let's see, more Helm issues. Oh, I see you actually added a tag to this one.
Yes, I'm trying to, when we create the Helm function, I am trying to support all of the issues filed in Kustomize.
What do you think we should recommend in the meantime? It sounds like the security flag is what's actually causing problems for them itself, and that won't be required in the containerized version. Do you think at this point we should just explain what the plan is going forward, or even point them to the kept version of the function to try out?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Like, I'm not sure what else we can say because we can't get rid of the flag.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like why doesn't the flag work? So we added for. Yeah, I think we can just tell them we're gonna make Helm a third-party extension, and here's a version of it that we're planning to publish under SIG CLI soon.
Yeah, as if they are able to try that out and let us know any obstacles that they face that could be useful, since the existing containerized function is going to be the basis of the SIG sponsored one. Would you mind responding to that again? Since
Sure, I can do that.
pre-install trusted care and functions. It sounds like exactly what we're working on in the CAP.
Yeah, maybe we can just point them to the catalog cup.
Oh, right. This is the one that I had been
Oh.
talking to you, and I did point them to the. So there's if anyone is interested in this, there's a CAP update open right now, ready for review with some more details, including based on the feedback that we got in this issue. So, yeah, this just needs a triage label. There we go. Okay.
Oh, this is something I was going to bring up in one of our contributors meetings. Maybe I forgot. Oh, yeah. I think we need to discuss what we're going to do for vars when they're used in strings and they're not delimited by anything. In those scenarios, replacements can't be used instead. So if we're going to recommend replacements instead of vars, I think we need a firm stance about those use cases.
Did I click on the wrong thing?
Oh, sorry. What issue are you looking at?
Looking at a container care amounts.
Oh, okay. Maybe I clicked on the wrong thing. I think I have a different order than you. We will just go with you.
Yeah, I clicked on, I think this one, although you can't see it, was, yeah, when the issue was last responded to. So like most stale in terms of us interacting with the person filing.
All right.
But if you think a different sort order makes sense, then we can definitely change
No,
it.
that's fine. I think it's just weird.
Okay, so this one has more Karam stuff. Let's see. The volumes are not being mounted. That sounds like a bug. There's also another bug that I have on my to-do list where we're not really validating the fields properly. Like if you typo the annotation, It just silently doesn't run the function. So that's another possibility to keep in mind as to what the problem is.
I didn't know we had a mount flag. We should probably get rid of that.
Yeah. There is a matrix of the flags that you need to use in one of the KEPs. It's pretty complicated. Like some flags go with some versions of the plugins and not others, and some of them are available in Kustomize and not others. But yeah, they exist. It's sort of like you have to have a pairing up of what the containers, what the resource says the container needs, and what the person running the command is actually authorizing to happen. So we're going to use catalog to do that ultimately, but currently that is still how the feature works, or is supposed to work. Let's see.
Yeah, so scrolling down, I realized I did respond to this person, and at the time, one of the KEPs said we're going to deprecate storage mount options, which I think has since been updated to say we're going to keep it. So for one, I should probably let them know that that's been changed.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I can respond to this.
Okay, it's already on the project, so that's good. I guess we need to repro as well.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
I can take a look.
That would be if somebody wants, like, you know, if it does reproduce. That sounds like the first actual bug that we've run into in this bug scrub. Would be something someone could work on. All right, so that is a little odd that we are running into. I guess it's 2 months ago. It thinks. Is that true? I'm wondering if my sort is not working as expected. 27 days ago is not 2 months ago. Weird. Maybe I should try last updated, see if that gives us more interesting results. With only so much time, we really want to focus on the issues that are being neglected somehow. This is a lot of the same ones. Well, just start scrolling down and see if we have responded more recently than the thing says. Nope. Okay, this one's actually new. Lazy component transform after overlay transform. Questions. So this is probably support. Let's see what they're saying. Oh, let me link it as well. Yeah. Which customization is this? Is this the top one or? Now this is an example of an overlay, so we don't see what they have in the base or where this is actually coming from, do we? Presumably the base.
When somebody uses components, like I know we have something in the code that just says like accumulate components or something. How does that work? Like, does the component have access to all the resources that have been accumulated at that point?
I don't think so, but I'm not entirely sure.
Because if not, then this error makes sense. The replacement can't find the resources because it's in the component.
Replacement source, yeah. I'm just trying to make sure I understand what they're saying here. The component transform after overlay transform. Oh. Is it because, right, they're targeting, that's where the key comes from. That's what I was missing. The key is coming from this config map generator that is now right here. So components is like resources, and it happens first, and that's expected and normal and not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I see.
Yeah, they'll need to use additional layers to make that work, right?
If they want to change the ordering of what happens, yes.
That's just how it works. I wonder if we explain that in the docs anywhere, like the sequence of generators and transformers.
I don't think so. But also soon the ordering will be configurable. I don't know if we also want to let them know about that.
The ordering will be configurable? What do you mean?
Like the ordering of generators and transformers. Oh wait, sorry, that's not true. It's the ordering of resources. Never mind. But yeah, it is in the docs. It says build stage first processes resources, then generators, then transformers, etc.
Okay. The reason it doesn't work to define a component that is meant to operate on a config map defined in the same layer that generators is including component and then transformers. I guess config map generator is a generator, so that's actually runs the resources and component. Could you link me to the doc that you just read from in the chat so I can include that in my response here? You ordering. Let's just see. Yep. Is there a specific section on the ordering?
And yeah, there's a heading that says ordering near the top.
Ah, here we go. Do you think we can just close this one since it was a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Remote JSON patch. Let's see. Here it is in the chat. So they want us to support HTTP URLs in addition to file references in the JSON or in the patch fields, right?
Yes. I don't see why not, since we allow remote resources and remote bases.
I wonder if this would be, if somebody actually took advantage of it very much, if it would be very not performant. Resources and bases are always sort of generating this starting point for customization, where this is, you know, part of the core customization operation itself. I also kind of remember Jeff saying something about the remote basis feature is supposed to be more of a prototyping phase thing, not a thing that you continue to use in production, because technically you're not, well, it depends on what you're doing exactly. Like you could be referencing a very specific commit that doesn't change over time, in which case the output of your customization run stays deterministic. But most people using the feature probably aren't doing that, which means that the remote customization is a source of variance that goes against the way that we want customized build, or we want to encourage people to use Kustomize in the way a customized build should work by default. So I understand that would be convenient, but I'm a little hesitant to support it for those two reasons.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is curious too. I'm not sure why CRDs and admission webhooks are being mentioned. I'll assign myself to follow up with maybe a bit more question and explain what we just said about why we probably don't want to support it. Okay, this is one that we have responded to. Oh, this is the one that was brought up at the SIG meeting. the chat. Here we go. Well, let's see what they said over there. So the problem is us assuming that blank and default are equivalent when it comes to namespace processing, and that the namespace transformer should be replacing either one, which is not what they want in that case. And they're saying that customizing the namespace transformers behavior did not work. Yeah, they're proposing that we have a annotation on an individual resource that basically exempts it from being touched by a particular transformer.
That seems very specific.
Yeah. So it sounds like what I said before wasn't true, and like they have, it's not a blank namespace, it's a different namespace, and they don't want it replaced. I'm gonna have to assign this to myself. It's gonna take some, I think, experimentation to make sure that I understand their case. And it could be that the solution is an alternative structure or something like that. I think this is too complicated. Just kind of sit here and try to solve on a call.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's another one about components. Chat. This is the exact same problem that we just answered the question about.
Yes.
Since they're explicitly requesting reordering, it occurs to me that theoretically, the composition resource could solve this for them, because it allows you, it considers everything a transformer, even if it's like it uses transformer as a generic. It could be a transformer, a validator, or a generator, and it lets you, using the full KRM spec, which is more verbose than anything that they'd be dealing with now, but it lets you order in a completely arbitrary way. The problem is that the way that both resources and components are implemented right now is not encapsulated, right? So there's a significant amount of work that needs to be done before composition can actually be merged.
Yeah, that makes sense. So would you convert components to another generator?
Yeah, exactly. It could be we already know for sure that we have to extract resources into a generator. And if I remember correctly, component is kind of a subset of the functionality of resources. Like it just has one behavioral change with how they're accumulated. So I don't know if it would actually be a different generator or not. We'll have to figure that out. It could be a component generator. It could be a flag on the resources generator. I don't know. But in any case, like this would work with the composition. It's just like not landing imminently because of the extreme amount of work required to get it in.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll assign myself and respond because links to the CAP and the PR and all that. We already saw that one, so here. Is this the one that you were talking about earlier, Natasha?
Yes, that's the one that came up next for me. We probably need to discuss maybe offline what we're going to do about these cases where replacements can't replace vars. I remember I talked to Jeff about it, and I don't know, he didn't really have a solution, so we kind of tabled it.
Mm-hmm. Is this one where it's a subportion of the field that can't be structurally delimited?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Since you already have that on the agenda somewhere else, we can move on. But like vars, part of the problem with them was that they allowed unstructured edits. That's part of what we didn't like about it and that we thought was a mistake about the feature. So it might actually legitimately be the case that we want replacements to have a smaller feature set than vars did.
Yes. But at that point, like we have to, I don't know, there's a bunch of users who have vars in these specific ways that they're using it. So I would like to have some sort of recommendation for what they can do.
Yeah, that's fair. We only have 8 minutes left here. I'm thinking for next time, maybe we could exclude kind feature. I think for a bug scrub, it'd be more productive to land on more that are actually bugs or prospective bugs. But let's see. Expected the annotations to be a map. Is this the same person? No, it's a different person. So it's just a feature request to change the format of the annotation selector.
Is there a standard for this format?
I guess internally we probably have this in a bunch of different places, but you know, if you're defining a selector in your deployment, for example, it's going to be a map. So I understand where they're coming from with that.
The only reason I'm hesitant is because if we support, like, we'd have to support both if we do this for a little while. But I don't know, I don't really have anything against it being a map instead of comma separated string. It does look better.
Yeah. We could have a separate field, I guess, that that has this different structure. Or are you thinking that we could actually like attempt to parse it as a map, find out it, or like attempt to parse it 2 different ways and see which one it is? I don't know if that's too
Maybe
sketchy.
not that. We could also wait until we're ready for customization v1 and then just change it in that.
Yeah. So for this one, I think we can certainly reopen the issue and the real issue and close this duplicate. And it's a good point about customization v5. It might be kind of complicated to support because we can't, or sorry, not customization v1, rather, not v5. We want to be mindful of how complex our code path will be while we're supporting both the v1 spec and the v1 beta 1 spec. But that would be a really good moment to implement this. So yeah, how about yeah. Probably do it first. Here we go. Good. Customization v1. Opportunity for us to make this change. And then we can add it to the project. Yeah, there we go. And remove all of these. Oh yeah, what kind is it? API change. All right, well, there's only 1 minute left. So with that, I think I'll call it a day. And thank you everyone for coming to this customized bug scrub. Hope to see you at the next one. And if there's any issues that you would like us to take a look at in the meantime, feel free to drop them in our channel and give us a ping.